Hi everyone, this is Charley and welcome back to another speed build. This time I am attempting to build Lallybroch Castle from the TV show of Outlander. Is one of my favorite TV shows so far. I have a few, but that one is sits very close to my heart because I love history. I love Scotland. I love time travel. So what more can you ask for? Now, um, I can already say now that the layout is probably pretty true according to what the real castle layout is. But when it comes to what the creators of Outlander, what they were thinking the castle would look like inside, it's probably not true. Because I have a feeling they used the real castle just on the exterior as it is, but I have a very hard time believing they used a proper castle when they actually recorded the TV show. Because I have a feeling when they used interior, they probably did. What would it be like a stage, like some they just put up a stage or a scene somewhere. So the interior layout is according to some images I found on Google because this is the castle's real name is not Lallybroch. The castle's real name is Midhope Castle, and I looked it up. It's situated in Abercorn in Scotland. Um, I've never been. I've been to Scotland, but I haven't been there, and I wish I could go back. So either way, this is that's why lots of the walls are like the double walls, double thick, because in a proper castle, and especially according to the images, it was they have very thick, dense stone walls, which makes sense. So that's why it looks a little bit strange from the inside, because it's not it's like it is a double cost just in the walls, but it turns out beautiful. Now, so I'm just trying out the different stair types at the moment, because there is, since in the proper castle, technically it was because I think in the layout it was some kind of split level thing going on. So you enter from, I mean, you have the ground floor, and then you have the first floor, and the second floor, and the third floor. So it's like total of 4 floors. Now, in the proper castle, the ground floor is probably not as tall as the rest, because the entrance you would walk up a stair and then you would hit the entrance, and then to on the left side of the entrance door you would have the dining room, and then to the right you would, by walking slightly down a small set of stairs, you would hit the formal parlor room, and then somewhere hidden behind there would be a private room, probably an office of some kind. Because usually, what I remember when it comes to the private rooms, they were the kind of offices. That's where the man of the house would hold his keep, and he would do whatever business he was intending to do. So that's what I was imagining, and I also did take some small liberties when it came to the layout to make sure that a few of those empty squares actually got used instead of just being not used. Right. So just trying to find a matching window because according to the um old images of the layout, the and also the proper images of the castle, the windows were very small. So obviously this castle wouldn't really have grand windows, and I'm guessing back in the days, the smaller the windows, the better, because they only were supposed to serve as some kind of a way just to slightly look out. But then again, if you have two big windows, because I wouldn't assume they were greatly insulated, and so it would make sure it would get colder quicker inside. So I can understand that you would. The lesser window, the better. But then again, this is The Sims. No one cares. Now, yeah, so this is the tower bit. It's going to turn out into, I do remove one window and it's going to turn into some kind of a bedroom. Also, this is why I didn't really use terrain tools that way, because in the original layout plans. There were doors from the ground floor leading out into the different side for the back and the front, which makes more sense. And obviously, since you can't, when you build a basement in Sims, it's actually built properly in underground. So there's no way you can do it like you did in Sims 3 with the terrain tools, and you can manipulate a little bit so you could have both basement and a proper wall connecting in that kind of way. You can, but probably wouldn't end up like this. So yeah, so it was a little bit fidgeting around, but I did manage to get it through. Now this is propagate. If you have seen Outlander, you might recognize it, because there's lots of images online where you see Jamie and Claire, who are, I don't know why it's paused at the moment. Yeah, there we go. I probably forgot to stop recording for a little bit there, but either way, Jamie and Claire, when they are first encountering, when they're walking up to Lallybroch, the Jamie and Claire are the main characters in Outlander, if you don't know. They have this great gateway where there's some kind of stone sign above, probably some kind of like I don't know, some uh, emblem, I don't know, like some sign for the Fraser clan, that kind of thing. But I used those stone plates from Dungle Adventure, which is actually used for the temple, and they were very, very nicely situated. Now, this is a stable because at the back of the castle, the real castle, there is actually like an outbuilding like this, which I'm assuming is for a stable. Now, obviously, we don't have horses in Sims 4, but I mean, I built it anyway, so you could imagine that is. But I think I just put a bit of crates and some storage at the back, and there's also another house. So I think one is stable, and one is probably like maybe storage for hay, maybe it would be back in the day, and some tools, and possibly even this stable boys would sleep in there because from what I've heard and read is that usually when it comes to workers out in the stables, they sleep out in the stables too. So it's yeah, it's a dirty work. And so the outside of the castle itself is mostly done. I'm just trying to figure out um what to do about you know, the grounds and the decorations. And when I looked at the images, that is from the set, from the TV show set itself. The ground was, covered in it seemed like dry straw, hay, and pines, that kind of thing. So, and luckily enough, we have this pine covering that came with Outdoor Retreat, and this is the first time I've actually used it. I've never used it before, but it really comes in handy right now. I also added besides the little keep in front of the horses for the stables for the horses. I do add a few different keeps for growing vegetables because obviously back in the day you would grow your own food and you would have different kinds of food because you would have to be self-sustainable. Maybe you would even have a big pig pen and that kind of thing, but didn't really bother with doing it that much. I did put lots of trees because since this is the entrance to this castle is quite hefty with trees and a bit of forestry, and there's lots of patches of grass. So that's why this is one of the more unkept gardens I ever had to design. Because basically, I mean, this is supposed to be the 1700s, 17. This was before the place when they went to Lallybroch in the TV show. It was before the Battle of Culloden, so it was 1742. And obviously, you don't really have in a place like this up in the Highlands. You didn't have a kept garden like this, and they didn't have it in the TV show either. So it's just putting grass and a bit shrubbery all over the place and lots of ivy, just trying to make it look as unruly as I could possibly make it. Also, they have that famous ivy along the castle wall at the front. And that lines up the walls as well. So, the only thing when I playtested this lot, I did notice that my sim had a habit of putting plates up on these because those are half walls and you can technically put items on it. And my sim had a habit of putting a plates of food on top of it. So make sure if you download this house, either you can change it to just a regular, actually proper fence, or just change something with the half walls because it was a bit annoying for having to locate all the stolen food plates. Now, when it comes to the interior, lots of I did cut out a little bit because I tried to figure out what to do with the wallpapers. Because when I looked at from pictures from the TV show, from their way of doing the interior, lots of this design goes into the wallpaper. It's usually wallpaper that has lots of patterns, lots of pictures. There's like the wallpaper in its own. It's like it's one just one masterpiece. It's just one entire artwork. We don't really have that kind of wallpapers in Sims, which is a bit of a shame. But either way, and this is actually, I took direct inspiration from the proper dining room they used in Outlander, because they had that big carpet on beneath that kind of table, and then I just remember there were two chairs sitting next to the wall, so they would just be extra chairs you can pull up if you have more guests. Now they actually had some kind of tapestry on the walls as well in the TV show, but Sims is pretty lacking when it comes to tapestries. They have two. One is very jungly, tropical inspired tapestries, which would definitely not work for this type of build. The other one was inside a glass frame. So it didn't really help me, so I just realized I just had to go with what I had. Also, one thing that was really, really helpful in this build is those hidden doors, those bookcase hidden doors, because also in the real castle and on this TV show, the servants had lots of these hidden doors, entrances. They were actually camouflage into the walls, so it would just be like a panel from the wall open up, but we don't really have that, but we did have those hidden doors, so I tried to mask it a little bit with using the matching bookcases around, so it would be a little bit unconspicuous, and that's why. So some of the hallways around those empty are actually used for the servants, so they could easily come and go, and they also have a direct exit out to the garden from the kitchen as well, which you're going to see later. I might not actually add it now. So this is supposed to be the private room according to the layout to the map. So I did it as a big library. It has a double store, bookcases, and there's a desk and some chairs. There's not really that much going on, but then again, I tried to furnish it according to a typical 1700 style. So there's lots of wood tones. Lots of wood tone. I'm trying to look at my notes just so I didn't, yeah, I don't forget to say anything. And I try to be also one thing that I'm very happy about when it comes to doing these types of build is because they're very simple. These types of build are very simple in this way because they don't really have much of furniture. And they put a lot of their artwork decorations first of all in the wallpaper and in the little things, like maybe they have a grand dining table and chairs accompanying to it, and the bed is very grand, and they have but it's not like we would furnish houses today, because if we furnish houses today in the modern style, there's usually lots of clutter because we value more in the little details, like having lots of things, while back in the day obviously it would be more expensive. And seeing as in Outlander, the Frasers, they're not really rich. They're not rich people in that sense. So obviously they wouldn't really have much. It's grand in the way that it's in the type of furniture they use. Actually, I think I forgot to. No, I didn't. No, okay. I thought I had forgotten to film the rest of it, but I hadn't. It was just that in that moment I realized there was a matching mirror from the base game, and they had just duplicated in City Living. So it's the same kind of mirror, it's just a different color, which got me a little bit upset. I did upload it. I'll upload the picture to my Twitter. So if you want to check it out and see what kind of mirrors I'm talking about, you can. There's a link to my Twitter in the description below if you want to have a look at what I was feeling a little bit annoyed with. But either way, it's not the first time the Sims team is duplicating items from previous packs or base games, and hopefully they try to fool us. Now, so yeah, it's just a bedroom. I'm just looking through the cluster category to find what kind of items would be suitable in a 1700s house, what would not be, what kind of carpets is best used. I do use the carpets, especially big carpets because they're big rooms, and I use carpets that has lots of patterns on it. So it's all about the patterns, and also all about using the grandest wood furniture I could find. And I also had to Google what would be typical kind of curtains they would use, because obviously they would have curtains. And that was a little bit because there's not really that much to choose from. One other thing I did realize when it comes to building historic houses is that Sims is very lucky when it comes to historic items. There's not really that much that has sort of a Baroque or classical vibe to it, and lots of it is very modern. So I just wish, yeah, they need to add more. First side note, yeah, I am adding a bathroom. Obviously, a house like this, they would only have a bathtub indoors, which basically would be a wooden tub that you would fill from the well with water. But since this is Sims, and I didn't really want to build an outhouse because they didn't even have outhouses at this time, they would have a chamber pot beneath the bed or something, and I didn't really want to put a toilet inside the bedrooms because it would kill the vibe a little bit. Um, so I did try to find the most antique looking a more like very classical kind of a sink, a bathtub, and toilet. Obviously, I only went for the bathtub because I mean it's supposed to be old, so we can't have showers around. And we have those towers. I didn't really place anything in the towers because I didn't really know what else to place. Also, one thing I did put in the office is a chess table because obviously, all men at the time they played chess because I don't know, it's because they were smart because of it. I don't know. Now we are starting with the kitchen. Technically a kitchen from the 1700s. All they had lots of tables to prepare stuff on, and they had a stove. Not like a that they might have that kind of wooden stove. That's why I like that stove because it shows it's a bit more antique, so it's not electrical. That is a wood burner. But either way, they would either use those wood burner stoves or they would use a fireplace to cook the food in, or some kind of other bread oven. Everything, with wood. And then for storage, when I looked at the pictures, they just had those kind of cabinets. There was just those cabinets all over the place. So I just added a bunch of those, and then I tried to fill with the like jars of maybe food being conserved and that kind of thing. And then I tried to make some kind of storage, and I tucked away the most antique looking fridges I could find because obviously this is Sims. I mean, you could obviously live off the fruit and the vegetables that will grow in the garden, but I mean, if you want to live it like properly, you got to have a little bit of, you know. I also added that one of the oldest looking sinks. Um, Not oldest, but it would be matching and not too eyesoring in the kitchen as well because you gotta wash your dishes somewhere. As just I don't know how they clean the dishes back in the day. They probably also just poured a bucket with water and then just dry them off in it. I can't imagine doing it differently. And here it's also where I added a door out from the kitchen to the backyard because if you work in the kitchen as a kitchen maid or a cook, you got to have a direct access to the garden so you can get whatever you needed for your cooking. Um, and here's where I realized that Get Famous has lots of nice stuff when it comes to this kind of build because they have a little bit more Asian. They have that, they have those tents and that fire pit and that. Well, it's all just decorations, but it really really worked for this because I thought like I mean maybe some workers would live in just a very very classic tent on the out in the courtyard or something. I don't know. They probably would have some workers' barracks in this kind of build, but I didn't really go with it. I also put some shrubbery around the staircase because, according to the build, I mean, the TV show itself, there was lots of shrubbery surrounding the staircase. So I tried to make a little bit more. I did also add that laundry stuff. So we've got a wash tub and the drying thing for the laundry, because obviously you need to do laundry and you need to do it the most old-fashioned way you could do. And I put the wishing well instead of that fake regular well from Get Famous, because I moved that to the back, and then I actually did put a functional fire pit at the front. So we have the only the decorative ones, and then we have the one you can actually use. So just finishing off a few different things around the place. And yeah, just trying to find the wash tub. It didn't really have that exciting colors, because I would imagine that a wash tub would not be blue. It would probably be brown, like a copper brown or something, or something in those terms. But obviously the Sims teams didn't grant us with that. With that, so I just had to go with it. Yeah, so those crates from Cats and Dogs were really helpful, and then I found those barrels from Get Famous, and then I also did the Show Hidden Objects cheat, and I found lots of little small treats here and there that really helped it out. I also found that I found that, because that's the bathtub you can, if you get a good enough in carpentry, that's the kind of bathtub you're able to build. Obviously, that's a terrible version, but I'm imagining it is some kind of a water hole for the horses to drink from. But your Sims may actually occasionally take a bath in it if you would like so. Now, just looking through the different things, and I found some notebook. It's probably just a police sketchbook or something, but I don't know. I picked it. So we are getting into the pictures now. So this is after I play tested it and I had my sim um, plant everything so the garden is lush and ready for you to play with. So just a few different close-up. I did do those tables from the Selva Dorada, the Jungle Adventure, because I thought usually they have some kind of market, or they have tables where they gather, or if they have the people need to pay the taxes, because there was those kind of tables, and they were the more rustic looking I could find. So you see just some overview of the backyard. It's not really much grass actually going on, because when I looked at the pictures from the TV show, most of it was just bark. It was stray, it was hay, it was pine. It's so there's not really that much grass going on, and yeah. So you see a few pictures. I tried to find the lights that is a bit more candles. Some of them are photogen, but I mean, there's not really that much candle options we have, and especially when it comes to chandelier. But I do love that medieval chandelier. Is from the famous expansion pack, and I think it's gorgeous. But it does not size down well, so I had to be sure where to use it. And as you see, different pictures of, and there's lots of those hidden. I did actually add another thing, bathroom on the down floor by the parlor and the office, or private room is called. So you can at least go to a wee downstairs. But I used a hidden door so you wouldn't see it. So this is the kitchen. I think it's as close as I could get here, because we do need those workbenches for your Sims to be able to prepare the food. This is the toilet, the only toilet I did take a photo of. There's one more with only a toilet and a sink in, but that's the only bathtub indoors, and then you have the other bathtub in by the stables. So this is a few of the bedrooms. I tried to make them unique and different looking. Um, since this is actually the attic, it probably would be great, but I chose it as a bedroom. There's just some overlying pictures. So download is in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like. And if you want to follow me on the gallery, you may so if you want to. Yeah, I hope you had a great day, and I'll see you in another speed build. I love Outlander. I just have to. I love it. Bye!